So one of the feature fights on the prelims for UFC on ESPN1, and by ESPN1 I mean this is the first UFC on ESPN event. It was between Manny Bermudez and Benito Lopez. Both of these guys were undefeated at the time, both bantamweights, although Bermudez weighed in at 140, so a little bit heavier than the bantamweight living. But this was a matchup between a guy and Lopez who you figured would want to keep this fight on the feet, and Bermudez, who is known as a really good grappler. When he got into the UFC, I believe he was a purple belt and was really submission savvy. Not sure whether or not he's been promoted to brownman at this point or not, but fact remains, if you're going to fight Manny Bermudez, you don't want to take the fight to the mat unless you're a high-level black belt, and that's not the case for Benito Lopez. So in this fight, he actually gets taken down by Bermudez. He gets back up, and where I'm going to start this breakdown is, gosh, this is going to be annoying. Where I'm going to start is going to be when they're clinched up. So again, if you're Lopez, the first thing you want to do here is if you are clinched up, you want to find a way to break it up here, or worst comes to worst, just kind of stall it out and get the ref to break you up. But you want to be able to break it up and then get out. Doesn't really do that. And earlier than this, Bermudez tried to feed his head in for a guillotine. He's going to do it again. This is coming in a little laggy right here. So again, at this point, the first time this happened, he was able to keep his posture high and avoid it that way. Doesn't really keep his posture high here. Bermudez, who's a pretty tall and long guy anyway, is able to kind of snap his head down. And he's going to be able to get a guillotine attempt out of it as a result. So snaps the head down, gets his grip, sprawls into him to put some weight down. And now Lopez is going to look to get out. So he's doing a decent job of fighting the hands here. He's on his side, and now he's out. So the position you're in right now, this is sort of like a crucifix type of position. Ideally, if you're Manny Bermudez and you want to keep this crucifix, what you want to be able to do is control the far side elbow. So that's going to be the elbow on this side right here. You want that to be in control of the hips. He doesn't have it right here, and it looks like the first thing he's going to do is going to be to try to get that control, but when he realizes he can't get it, he's going to move on from there. So he sort of shoots his hips there, you can see. And one thing that'll be helpful to notice here is the red gloves are for Benito Lopez, the blue are for Manny Bermudez. He tries to do that, realizes it isn't there, and he's going to come up. Now again, this elbow right here, if he can control the elbow, he can get the crucifix position. If he can't control the elbow, then it's not really going to be that easy to hold. So for him, if you want the crucifix, that's what you're going to go for. If you're Benito Lopez here, what this underhook is doing is it's keeping you from coming up and going for a single leg on Bermudez's left leg. So what you're going to want to do is actually scoot your hips out this way, get this arm free. And granted, it is worth noting that Bermudez is doing a good job of trying to keep control of that arm, but you want to get that arm free, scoot out, and then try to get into like some sort of, you want to get on, at least try to get on all fours and either wrestle your way out or try to back your way out and just get a reset. But you don't want to try to turn into him. So Bermudez, again, you can see right here, he's trying to control it at the elbow and get into a crucifix position. Still a little bit low. But now Lopez is starting to turn in. Now what's weird here is, if you're paying attention the whole time, and I'll see if I can go back a little bit, this right hand of Benito Lopez is never doing anything about Bermudez's left arm. He's just kind of floating it around. It seems like he's just waiting until he can get to a position where he can clasp it with where he can clasp it with his left hand and then try to go up for a single. But he's really not doing anything either offensive or defensive with his hand the entire time. And that's really where he's making a mistake here, because now he's going to try to go up and take a single leg. Meanwhile, he's doing nothing to deal with Bermudez's left arm, so Bermudez is just going to sneak the choke in as a result. Comes up. Bermudez takes a choke. There wasn't enough defense in the first place. Now that he's actually got it there, Lopez is going to try to defend, but it's a little bit too late. Now, ideally, when you're defending a guillotine choke, you want your body on the opposite side of your head. What that meaning is that in this case, Bermudez is attacking on Bermudez's left side. So if you're Lopez, you want your body to go to Bermudez's right side. But you can see here, his whole body is on the left side here. So he's the exact wrong way. And if you're going the wrong way, pretty much all you can really try to do to get out is to roll. But if the guy is pretty skilled with the guillotine, he's going to know that you're going to roll, and he's going to roll with you. And that's exactly what's going to happen right here. So he rolls. And at this point, I mean, this choke is incredibly deep. So this right here is Bermudez's hand. It went all the way through, the gloves all the way through, so it has past the big padding on the glove. At this point, when he actually gets the finish, I don't really think he has his hands connected, but just that alone, that's sort of like a one-arm rear naked choke, except in reverse, the way that the grip works out. This is really tight and this is really deep. But now he's going to try to at least connect the hand or like grab his bicep. Doesn't even get there before the tap and gets the win. All right, so now I'm going to go back and focus again on how Lopez is really missing out on an opportunity to fight hands. Again, hopefully they're going to fix this. All right, let's see if this can show it. So again, watch this right hand of Benito Lopez the whole time. He's just hanging there on the mat, not defending. Now he's trying to grab for a single, not defending the choke, gets caught. Bermudez gets it in super deep. At this point, he's also another detail that I want to factor in here is how he's controlling the arm to make it so he can't turn anymore. So let's get back there. So again, Lopez is doing nothing to deal with the left arm of Bermudez. Just kind of floating it there. Gets caught in. Now he's at least going to try to roll through. And you can see Bermudez has his legs triangled around the left arm of Lopez to try to keep him from turning anymore, doing anything else to escape and evade, because at this point, the grip's deep. It's just a matter of keeping him there long enough to get the choke, or to get enough of a squeeze to get the tap, and he's able to do just that. So great win for Bermudez. One of the things that impressed me about Bermudez in this fight is that his striking looked a lot better than what I remember seeing from him in the past. His grappling's always been good. Looked really tight here, looked really sharp. So one of my concerns for him is that when he got into the UFC, I thought he might have gotten in a little bit early. As I mentioned before, you're coming in as a purple belt and jiu-jitsu is your specialty. That can work on the regional scene, but when you're in the UFC where there are a lot of black belts at the top of a lot of these divisions, or there are a lot of guys who are high-level wrestlers who can keep the fight from getting to the mat, that's going to become a problem for you, and you're going to have to be able to strike with these guys, or at least figure out a better way to take them down. It looks like for him, his wrestling, or at least his takedowns, they're improving. The jiu-jitsu is improving, which it was his best aspect to begin with, but it's getting better. But the striking looked pretty sharp too. He's definitely used his length here. Was finding a home for the right hand a lot. So I think if Bermudez, if they can at least give him some more time, let him slowly progress his way up, and if he can keep working his ass off in the gym, like it looks as though he has been, he could potentially be a prospect somewhere down the line, maybe in a couple of years. So definitely got to keep watching, and great submission here, nice finish, and look forward to seeing his next fight.